Ukrainian President Vladimir Zelensky is accusing Russia of stalling the peace process, saying, quote, words don't work with Moscow. And according to Ashley Parker's new piece for The Atlantic, it sounds like it might be dawning on Donald Trump. Ashley Parker and Tom Nichols are still with us. So, Ashley, do you really think Donald Trump is evolving on Vladimir Putin?
Yes and no, with maybe more emphasis on no. In this moment, Trump is legitimately frustrated with Putin for a number of reasons. One is that while Trump has real antipathy and sort of genuine animosity for Ukrainian President Zelensky, Zelensky agreed to a ceasefire, and Trump had sort of believed that Putin and Russia would be open to a ceasefire as well. But once the Ukrainians agreed, Russia has not done that. They've shown no willingness towards a ceasefire. And, you know, as someone familiar with the president's thinking explained it to me, he both feels kind of humiliated about Putin, quote unquote, tapping him along, but also he feels like we called their bluff and they're not actually willing to work towards this. And then there is also, and again, this to be clear is not new, but there have been photos coming out of the war that are gruesome, that involve children. And we know from past reporting in Trump's first term that these photos do sometimes move the president. It's what got him to agree to greenlight airstrikes in Syria in his first term, and also to issue a rare rebuke against Saudi Arabia when he was shown photos of starving Yemeni children from a Saudi blockade. So we are seeing Trump be more forceful now, but the interesting thing is that even his frustrated, forceful response may end up benefiting Russia, because he has said a couple of times, I was in the Oval Office when this happened and I pressed him on it. He has said, look, this isn't my war. I'm getting sick and tired of it. If these sides won't compromise, I'm going to walk away. The United States will just back out. And to be clear, that's exactly what Putin wants. So in certain ways, Trump is saying, Putin, I'm mad at you. I'm frustrated with you. And I'm just going to throw up my hands and essentially do exactly what you want.
Does he not see that as a loss for himself? Does he not see, is there anybody in his ear telling him that in order to really force Vladimir Putin's hand, he's got to arm Ukraine, which is the one big thing that Vladimir Putin doesn't want the U.S. to continue doing, arm Ukraine and make Ukraine a part of NATO?
So Trump, again, I'm just going to put this in a broader historical context. There have been people since Trump came to power repeatedly telling him, you know, with various amounts of force and at various points, Vladimir Putin is a bad guy. Vladimir Putin doesn't want to negotiate. Vladimir Putin invaded Ukraine with no provocation, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. The way Trump sees this, and this is very clear, and again, when we at The Atlantic went in to interview him a couple of weeks ago, he said as much again. He views this as not his war, not his problem. He's frustrated by it. He believes he inherited it. He believes if he had been president instead of Biden, this never would have happened. And he sort of either wants to get a Nobel Peace Prize from solving it, which seems unlikely, or he wants to wash his hands of it. And if that happens to benefit Russia, right now, that doesn't seem existentially troubling for this American president.
Yeah, and Tom, you write in The Atlantic as well, nothing's going to change until Vladimir Putin sees costs for his actions, actual costs, not just Donald Trump stamping his feet on social media.
Right. You know, as Ashley's pointing out, right now, Donald Trump is threatening to do everything Putin wants him to do. There are no costs other than the policies that already exist, the sanctions that already exist, the weapons that are going to Ukraine. I think part of the problem here is that Trump doesn't understand that for Putin, this is something deep. This is a part of a deeply held belief that he must control Ukraine. For Putin, everything is transactional. You know, hey, get out of, end this war. It'll be great for both of us. We'll do some business. I'll get a peace prize. That Trump just doesn't understand that other human beings don't work that way and that world politics don't work that way. And so, there's no cost to Putin to simply say, yes, Donald, I totally understand. We're friends. We can talk anytime, because that's what Trump thinks matters. Putin is an accomplished, at this point, he is an accomplished world figure who knows how to deal with other people. He was a KGB agent. We say this all the time. He knows how to deal with people and sort of take advantage of their psychological weaknesses. But he's been the president of Russia for a long time. And every time the Trump administration tries to impose costs or talk about them, they back off from it because Putin just doesn't care.